What is up, everybody? I'm No Lex Given, and today we are closing a chapter in Storybook Brawl. We're going to be turning over a new page, but for right now, this is the very last game that I'm going to be showcasing on the old Storybook Brawl board. We just got a brand new update to the game that came along with it, some balance changes, but also some huge changes in the UI. And I know everybody has some thoughts on this new UI. I do as well, but it's what we got, so it's what we're rolling with. And in a lot of ways, this feels like a new era for Storybook Brawl, and I always knew that changes like this were coming. It's a little bit strange for me as somebody that's created content on this board for the past year. I feel like new players that are going to come into the game and get used to the new board, this one's going to feel foreign to them, and they might not go back and watch some of my sweet older content. So I am going to be doing something towards the end of the year to kind of highlight all of the best content that happened on this board, and we'll just go through all of my best videos for the past 13 months or so that I have been creating content for Storybook Brawl. But for right now, we're going to take a look at one last game on this board, and partially that's because I have to show you guys every single Goldilocks game that I play. I'm still undefeated on this hero, 10 wins out of 10 games played. Absolutely incredible. I don't know how this has happened. It seems unbelievable to me to some capacity, but we're gonna see how long we can keep this going. Maybe this is the end of this chapter as well for Goldilocks, but we will find out. And this is a fun one. We've got the golden chicken that we picked up off the shrink drink on turn 1. And then I rolled and locked on to Cinderella plus roll the die, so that way I could start ticking down on Cindy. But extra econ, always good on Goldilocks. She loves her gold. That's going to allow us to sell off the golden chicken so that we can pick up 3 characters on 3.0. And this is pretty good. What I'm thinking is next turn we can sell off the bossy, and then we will be able to pick up the Wish Upon a Star plus 1 tier 2 character. The other thing I'm going to do is bench my Humpty Dumpty, so that way we have it for next turn. And we didn't even need it for this turn. It didn't matter that we benched it, but now we're just going to be able to play a stronger board on this Wish Upon a Star turn. Now, awkwardly, we are not going to be able to buy a level 2 character this turn. There's just no level 2 characters in the shop. What we could do is sell off the Bossy and the Cindy and buy a level 3 character. Now, there is one other option. We could just pick up Brave Princess, Ogre Princess for this turn, but I'm going to go for a play that I think gives us the highest potential to win here, which is going for Trojan Donkey behind the Stag, and then we've also got this Humpty Dumpty in the front row, and Stag is pumping up Mummy and Donkey. So if we can get this Stag attack, that's absolutely huge. And we are going to get it. I couldn't remember if we got it there for a second. So this is like pretty good chances to win this combat here. A bad mummy hit is a little bit awkward, and then unfortunately we wind up walking away with a tie. So we're not going to grab that bonus XP. A little bit unfortunate, but we do still get a pretty nice turn here, and we are still up in XP as Goldilocks. So this is strong. I definitely want the Greedy, and I definitely want the Monster Book. Those are just 2 very powerful characters. And I might have mentioned this at the start, but like I said, Goldilocks loves her gold, and in this game we're going to be generating a bunch of extra gold from Greedy. So that makes this one a lot of fun. The only question here is, and actually I'm surprised that I don't just go for the Fireball here after picking up those 2 characters, but ultimately I'm just going to decide to roll. And we do get pretty rewarded. We find some nice characters after this roll, a Lightning Dragon and another Greedy. Those are nice ones, and then a Feed the Kraken for some additional econ. But definitely an interesting choice, I think, to not just go for the spell there. That obviously would have been really powerful, but, you know, I was right. We didn't need it. We were powerful enough just by picking up the monster book and the greedy. So now I want to pick up one more greedy. I'm just trying to see how we are going to distribute the rest of our characters on the board. One strong thing that we can do is put Lightning Dragon in slot 1, and that will still allow my stag to pump up 2 characters when it attacks. We are up against a Sad Drac, so maybe the stag won't be able to attack. And then the other thing I was considering there, like I could have sold the stag and the Vampire and picked up Puffy, or a Puff rather, and that would have been kind of fun, but we're just going to go for this, and then ultimately I will put the donkey behind the stag yet again, because a frontline 2/6 donkey, not really going to get us anywhere, whereas a backline 5/9 donkey behind the stag could actually do something. We have 4 characters here that we'd love to pump up behind the stag with the donkey, the mummy, and the 2 greedies, so there's a lot of different ways to order this board, but ultimately this is what I wind up going with. Now we get pretty lucky as our Lightning Dragon takes out my opponent's Romeo on this combat, which is nice, but we still aren't quite going to have the stats to grab the win. So we'll take a little bit of damage, unfortunate, but we get some nice supports in our 4.2 shop. A River Wish Mermaid to go along with the Lightning Dragon is pretty nice, and then a Fanny to go along with both of our greedies is also good. I do somewhat consider the Sporko, but there's not really like a great place to put it. I don't really care about adding it to the board. And the other thing is saving all of these benched characters going into 5.0, I think is also going to be strong for us. One thing that I didn't mention at the start of the video that I meant to is when we first cast that Wish Upon a Star, I said that we could have held off for another turn and just picked up Ogre Princess and Brave Princess. And part of the reason I didn't, I'll be honest, you've seen every Goldilocks game that I've ever played here on the channel. I haven't experimented too much with the level ups on the 0.2 turns in terms of how those interact with different things or locking the shop. I still have no clue. I did do one game where on the level up turn, on a 0.2 turn, I cast some XP and then I rolled and I bought some stuff. That actually worked out fine, but one thing I've never done is locked a Goldilocks shop on 3.2, 4.2, or 5.2. And I'm kind of teasing that because we're going to be doing that in this one for a very specific reason. And just want to cue it up for some context that I don't actually know how it's going to wind up working. But I'll wind up tripling this Lightning Dragon here and just going for Moonsong Horn. It's a little bit tough. I don't actually know if the Krampus's Sleigh is going to be any good for us if we steal a treasure from this 8 health trophy hunter. So I just go for Moonsong Horn, which is effectively just a power orb, +1/+1 to all of my characters, gives us higher chances of getting greedy gold, and is also good for wombats because the wombats get +1/+1, so then whatever they resummon gets +2/+2. If we had taken the Krampus's Sleigh here, turns out all it would have given us was a power orb plus a little bit of extra gold, but I'm definitely glad that I went this way and just had the extra stats for this combat. Though I guess I probably would have just taken, like, I just would have skipped the treasure next turn. So funny stuff there. I will wind up casting a Genie's Wish because it's free thanks to the Moonsong Horn, and then we'll pick up a greedy. We've got a few different pairs of things right now, and there's 2 pretty decent treasures here. There's Forking Rod, which goes along well with Moonsong Horn. I think we looked at that combination of treasures on Friday. But there's also Evil Eye when we have 2 really good supports right now. We've got the Fanny and the River Wish Mermaid. So now we're going to be getting double slays. We'll even be able to scale this greedy a little bit more because 1927 is big enough that that should be able to slay and stick around. So we'll pick that up, and then next turn we're going to look for a few more potential pairs here with the monster books, and then also the wombats in disguise. But I will say I do feel a little bit justified in my purchase with the fact that Evil Eye has moved up to a tier 5 treasure. It means I got a little bit of a discount in this one, right? Greedy is going to slay and stick around, so we'll get some bonus cash from that. That's working pretty nicely for us, and then we'll even get a little bit more bonus cash. So we're gonna have a ton of bonus gold this turn, and then we even summon another Greedy. Pretty silly stuff. That'll give us even more gold, 9 extra gold on 5.2. If we had taken the Forking Rod, we could have double cast that High Ho there, which would have been funny. But now we are just going to wind up rolling and trying to pick up some pairs and things. And I am going to pick up another Fanny because we have the Evil Eye. This will just help us get as much gold as possible going into 6.0, which is going to be really important, so that way we can settle on potentially a more powerful comp. We don't really have a comp right now, and maybe we will pick some direction in the future. And this shop, this is where things go crazy. I pick up the Fanny before I pick up the Golden Chicken, so that way if we find magic runes, we could still find them here. But we're actually going to find Bounty Board, which is a pretty crazy treasure to be able to pick up. I'm going to wind up picking up a River Wish Mermaid, selling off of the wombats in disguise, because Bounty Board now doubled up effectively with these River Wish Mermaids. We're going to be able to grab a ton of cash here, and even, oh no, that was 75% to slay, but failed to do so twice. All right, a little bit awkward. We're still grabbing a bunch of cash off of the Greedy though, so that's really sweet. That's going to give us a bunch of gold into 6.0, but I did lock the shop. So now we're about to find out what happens, and it turns out just Goldilocks doesn't activate. So it's great to know in terms of wanting to do this in the future. I've been afraid to lock a shop that only has like half of the characters purchased from it, because I was afraid then you would only get half of the value from Goldilocks. So I locked because of Lance plus Blaze of Glory, double casted, gets us a free tier 5 treasure. There's so much going on right here to be able to talk about. We finally get access to our Goldilocks shop, and it has double Empress P plus a Boom Hilda to actually get those Empress P's slaying, and then a Jormungand. So it's got a full comp ready for us. This is super awesome. Goldilocks loves me. This is why I can't lose on Goldilocks if it's going to give me shops like this. So much going on in those past 2 turns. I apologize if that all went by a little bit too quickly, but it also went by too quickly for me in the game. Like, I struggled. I picked up the River Wish Mermaid. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. You know what? Let's even go back and just watch all of this, because one of the crazy things here is because of this combat, we don't get the 2 bonus gold from Goldilocks. Or no, I'm sorry, we do. Scratch that from the record. We get the 2 bonus gold from Goldilocks. I was thinking we leveled up, but no, we locked the shop. So that, along with all the Greedy gold and the Bounty Board gold, puts us up to 26 gold. So that's enough to pick up a Lancelot, Blaze of Glory it, and not even bat an eye. We still have 19 gold. We roll into this shop with 18 gold, and if we sell off Golden Chicken plus 2 more things, we'll have enough to buy everything that we need. So pretty insane stuff. Sell out of the monster books. We've already got all of the tier 4 treasures in the game that are any good that we could possibly care about. So just really, really fantastic stuff here, and the econ works out perfectly that we can even hang on to the wombats and the Fanny going into future turns, and the Greedy, but we're going to wind up selling those off in short order. I do reorder the board a little bit, and I'm not sure if this was even right, but I figured I'm actually not planning on keeping this Lancelot around too much, so I'm just going to throw it in slot 1, even though that makes it more likely to slay. Maybe I should have just rearranged some stuff, but I wanted to maximize my Bounty Board gold here, and I think that I was able to do so. So we're going to continue to get plus 8 gold this turn. I'll pick up Staff of the Old Toad, toss that Forking Rod. We have gotten enough use out of that. And speaking of going too fast, I skipped past a Sky Castle. I was like, we have all the tier 4 treasures we need. I don't need a Sky Castle. Totally forgetting that I have an Empress P in my hand and could have used that to activate the grab a tier 6 treasure for free. So a little bit unfortunate. I maybe should have gone for the Drink Me potion in that shop as well and taken a look at some spells, because there are some cool spells that we could still find at this stage of the game. I'm not going to spoil what those might be, though, as we have another Drink Me potion in this shop that I will make sure to lock onto. I'm going to field this board, and then I will wind up picking up Singing Sword and tossing the Staff of the Old Toad. And Singing Sword makes our board pretty good here. I do briefly unlock before relocking onto this Drink Me potion again, but both of these Empress Peas have no additional stats on them. They have not slayed yet, but they have 50 attack, which is pretty sweet and going to allow them to slay here. Now, I do need this Medusa to attack into my Empress Pea, and it does. No luck's given, baby. So now Jormungand is free to roam about the cabin. That is going to give me some bonus gold here still from the bounty board and a kill onto Loki. So now we've got 21 gold. That is free enough to go ahead and cast that Drink Me potion. Then we see a Knighthood, and my first idea is to Knighthood on the Empress P, but then I realize this Boom Hilda is getting doubled by both of these Empress Ps and the Evil Eye, and it's just a ton more stats to just upgrade this Boom Hilda. Now, if this was a Baba Yaga, that's probably a no-brainer. As is, it's a little bit awkward because when I find a Baba Yaga, I'm still going to want that. That's going to be a huge power spike, but picking up the Empress P for now will definitely help us, and then we could potentially get some scaling up against the Ghost by having some of these Empress Peas slay. I'm looking at the Echo Wood, but ultimately there's really no way to get it in here. Maybe once I triple the Empress Peas, then we'd have an extra slot in the front line, but for right now I do need to play the second River Wish Mermaid because it's supporting that second Empress P. So I need to play basically all of the characters that I'm currently playing. We are going to get the slays with the Lightning Dragon, though our first Empress P is going to go down, our second Empress P is going to get the slay. So it's also, again, going to give us a bunch of bonus cash. We've got 10 gold going into the turn, and we see that the Fates won up against Pied Piper. This game is going so fast for me. I probably could have done this game on 1x speed, even though I spent like an hour speeding up the footage earlier and playing some teamfight tactics while I did so. But we are going to get an Evil Twin. That's the other spell that I thought could be cool, and that allows me to pick up a Mimic Chest to go along with my Evil Eye and my Singing Sword. So when we pick up a Lightning Dragon here, we needed to find another replacement unit. It skyrockets up to 100 attack. It's getting plus 90 attack from our Boom Hilda supported with Evil Eye and Mimic Chest, plus our Singing Sword. So really, really sweet stuff there. That Lightning Dragon is going to have no problem slaying. And like I said, I am somewhat considering this Boom Hilda, but we've already, or Baba Yaga, but we've already invested so much into the Boom Hilda that I think I'm just going to stick with that, and I'll wind up rolling past this shop and looking for a spell of some sort to aid us in the finals. But really, if we can beat this player just beat the Pied Piper. So I think we will be doing pretty good if we can make it out of this one alive. And we aren't going to grab the pumpkin, but we will be able to get a pretty nice Boom Hilda. It's all going to come down to what scams are in this pumpkin. And this is a really, really close combat. They get a backline Cupid, which could be really dangerous for us, but we get super lucky. As you'll see, this monster book is going to activate, hit our Boom Hilda with a lightning bolt, which means Cupid can take it out. And I've got to rewind this again just because of how close this was. It goes down to 5 health on the Boom Hilda from the ancient sarcophagus and the lightning bolt, which means Cupid takes it out, which means our Boom Hilda doesn't take out our Jormungand. So really, really close combat there. Now, despite that being a very close combat, we were actually 88% chance to win that one. And now we are on to the finals up against Pied Piper. And despite that combat feeling pretty close, I actually don't think we're going to have that much trouble against the Pied Piper. I am going to pick up the Medusa because they were looking to play summons. We saw them 5 turns ago. It's not that long ago. They're probably still playing summons. And summons is just such an easy matchup when you're playing Slay. So I feel pretty good about this. We're going to get trolled here a little bit by seeing a bunch of 9 Sea Terrors. I think we even see, one more. So maybe we were supposed to pick up 9 Sea Terrors and look for the Horn of Olympus. But we just wind up picking up the Medusa in case my opponent has any problem characters, and with all of their good stuff in the back line as a summon comp has to do. it's going to be pretty easy for us to grab the win here. So it's just going to come down to what's in this Wombats, and it's a monster book that scams my two best characters. So my opponent actually has a shot here and is actually able to get a tie. So well played. An extremely lucky series of rolls for my opponent. We are going to see one more 9 Sea Terror, and I'm curious what the win percentage on that one was. 99.91% to win. So I'm feeling pretty good if we just run it back, right? Let's just pick up these Hermes Magic Beans, get that first attack, get in with the Lightning Dragons, wreck my opponent's back line, and they probably can't do too much from there. Now, the one fear here would be my opponent picking up a Soul Tack Ancient, and if they're able to do that, it could get a little bit awkward for us. But my opponent is also so invested in this, like, Empress P plus summons kind of comp that I don't think that they're going to be able to do much against us here. It's really just Soul Tack or bust. Now, the one cool move that they do make is they frontline their Echo Wood, so that way we can't eat their Echo Wood, but we do get to eat their Boomhilda, which means now their Baby Bear has no chance of stopping my Empress P, and then Empress P gets to let Jormungand go crazy. My Jormungand goes crazy. That's the whole point here. We grab an easy win, very straightforward, and now we're 11-0. Pretty unbelievable, to be totally honest. I thought that closing a chapter, or whatever I'm calling this video, would be a cheeky name to potentially maybe hint at the fact that the Goldilocks streak is going to end, but no, that streak is still going. And it is going to be going onto the new board. I'll see how long we can keep it going for. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I do want to say that my very first game that I played on the new patch, that's going to be my video tomorrow, that was also a Goldilocks game. And it is a ton of fun. So you're not going to want to miss that one. That's going to be tomorrow's video where we see if we can go 12-0. But for today, that is going to be it for me. So thank you very much for watching. I'm No Lux Given. Peace.